Hey, good morning. Welcome to another video. This one comes from a person who says that they're having problems with their family because they've stopped drinking alcohol. You know, the family taking the piss out of what they're doing, saying to them there's nothing wrong with a couple of beers, or they need to lighten up and it's all about moderation, all that kind of crap, right? Now, don't let anyone fool you into believing that you're not doing something good for yourself and your family by stopping the flow of this poison. When someone tells you that there's nothing wrong, what are they talking about? You know, who are they talking about? Have they listened to what they're saying? Have they looked at what they're doing themselves? You know, usually what we're talking about here is when somebody stops drinking alcohol, that's when their problems start. That's when somebody will turn around to them and say, oh, you must be an alcoholic, you must have this problem, they must have had that problem, because why would anyone want to stop this, such a great thing, you know, this thing that kills 3.5 million people every year worldwide, right? This thing that is responsible for over 100 different health conditions, right? How many days and weeks and months have you lost because of this one drug, right? You know, how many years of your life are you losing because of this one drug? But there's nothing wrong with taking a small amount of this, right? There's nothing wrong with putting a toxin into your body for fun, right? Really? You know, I can give you a dozen reasons off the top of my head. And the problem isn't with 1 or 2 drinks. Your body could handle that, right? If you decided today I'm having 1 or 2 drinks and I'm not going to do it again, or I'm going to have 1 or 2 drinks a month, or I'm going to have 1 or 2 drinks a year, your body could handle that, right? Your body is well capable of handling that. The problem is with 1 or 2 drinks over a long period of time. You know, why ever you would want to put 1 or 2 drinks into your body at all, you know, if you're doing it just in a small amount of time, I don't know, but, you know, these people don't see that, right? Drinking this toxin is done in the moment. The alcohol tool, you know, when you use an alcohol tool as a tool, that's what most people are doing, to hide from their problems or to relax or to socialize or whatever. All that's done in the moment. The emotions that you're trying to control, these are all things that you do in the moment. It is trying to control something instantly, right? Instant gratification, by another name. There's a scene in The Simpsons where Homer Simpson is drinking vodka and he's just pouring it into a jar of mayonnaise, and he's talking about some problems with his kids and he's not spending enough time with his kids, but he says to Marge, that's a problem for future Homer, he's going to have to face. And he says, man, I don't envy that guy, right? That's the way a lot of people live their lives. You know, you're eventually going to get to that guy who's going to be living with the consequences of what you're doing right now in the moment. So, you know, you have to think outside of the box. You have to think into the future. You know, maybe you're already living in that future self. I know I am. You know, I'm 57, I think. Yeah, 57, 56, 57. I can't remember. That's terrible. No, it's not. I think it's a good thing. I've had years of smoking, years of drinking, years of not thinking about my future self, years of putting crap inside my body of one kind or another, right? And now I'm living with the consequences. I feel very lucky. I feel very fortunate that I copped onto myself when I did, that I started thinking about these things, that I had a few shocks in my life that made me sit up and think. So, you know, I feel very fortunate that I've come out this side and I've only got the damage that I've got, and I haven't got worse damage, right? So, you know, some people don't do that. You know, they wait until it's way too late to do anything about it, you know, where the damage is so intense that the rest of their lives are going to be lived in a very compromised manner. No, I've got to compromise some things, but that's a good thing. I've got to compromise in ways that I should have been doing all along. So I'm being forced to make the changes happen. You know, you don't have to do that. You can make a choice now while you don't have to make, while you're not forced into these choices. And another thing is, don't let people make you think that you're not doing something good for society as well as yourself and your family. You know, there's too many people standing in line waiting for drugs and surgeries, you know, waiting for somebody else to solve their problems, right? And not enough people standing in the self-help line, you know, in the line to get some information about how I can help myself, how I can make the changes happen in my life, how I can change the mindsets, how I can change the way I think about these things. You know, and guess which one is going to create the life that you don't want to escape from? It's not the drugs or the surgeries, because the underlying problem is still there. The underlying thinking that creates the problem is still there. Einstein's famous quote is, it's a definition of insanity, trying to change the future with the same thinking that created the problems, or trying to get away from problems with the same mental thinking that created the problems in the first place. You know, by standing up and being counted, by openly saying that you don't need a drink, you don't need to put this toxin into your body to live your life, to socialize, to relax, you're not only standing up for yourself and your family, your children, but also as a model for an alternative and healthier, more contented way of living. You know, there's plenty of people out there who will try and convince you that there's nothing wrong with a couple of small doses of this poison, but don't let them fool you. You know, they are fooling themselves, and there's nothing that you can do about that, so there's no point in even trying. You know, you don't have to fool yourself, you don't have to go along with this, right? You know, those same people that are telling you that there's nothing wrong with 1 or 2 doses of this poison, that's not what they're doing. You know, they're not only drinking 1 or 2 doses of this poison, that's the story they tell themselves, and then they drink a bottle or 2 bottles or 5 or 6 cans or whatever it is. You know, they're telling themselves these stories to soothe their own conscience. So listen, if you're at a place where you think you might want to at least think about stopping drinking alcohol, you can take our free beginner's guide to unplugging from alcohol. It's in the description below. It'll give you some, I think, some valuable insight into some of the mindsets that will, that could help save your future self from the consequences of today's choices. Take care of yourself. I'll speak to you in the next video. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.